Look, we've been going for like 40 seconds. I haven't even done anything. Yeah, I think the Jaimo show. So the question here is, can I change the title of my show to the Jaimo show? I think that's a great idea. But no one thinks it's Jamo. Yes, the Jaimo show. Yeah, can you change it to the Jaimo show next week?
Yeah.
Also, I have another question for you, Dashaina Gibbs. Do you put... Oh, no way, she remembered to do it. I can't believe it. So I'm going to presume that everyone can hear me, except I'm going to look at the... It's time for the Jaimo show. Give him a hand. Oh, thanks, man. Okay, let's just look through here and see if anything's going on. Mountain Dew, it's the Jaimie show. What? Okay, so today I'm gonna start by, well, let me just check. You guys can hear me, right? Someone say yes. Someone say yes. Or say no, whatever. Screen in front of the fan over there. It's super hot today, so there's a fan on. It's not even blowing at me though. You know, that would be great, but you know, well, it's for the sleeping baby, which is preferable anyway. Ooh, that's much quieter actually. All right, so I'm a little tired today because yesterday I drove to town in my pedal boat and I only got like sun, half the time or so. So I did a fair amount of pedaling. So I'm a little worn out, a little bit tired, but let's see how this goes. So I was trying to, all right, tomaters, you can hear me. Excellent. Okay. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about individuals and big organizations. Because one of the criticisms I've gotten pretty much throughout my whole life is, Jaimie, you're wasting your time doing all these experimental things. Why don't you do everything like everyone else? You know, hear that all the time. Because, you know, an individual, only big businesses or governments can do that. What's that? Turn my volume down? Apparently I'm talking too loud. So, yeah, basically the presumption there is that only big businesses and governments can do anything big, anything worthwhile, anything meaningful in life, anything that's gonna matter. Well, I beg to differ. And after, I've gotten this criticism since I was pretty young, and after having experienced life for several, explain why that's bullcrap. Okay, first, let's take an example. Corn is a good example, because everyone knows what corn is. So let's go back in time to before there were all these huge, like, multinational corporations and governments that, like, run everything. Back to a time when individuals did more themselves. So people's lives weren't run by bureaucracy all the time. People built their own houses, made their own horse carts or whatever, tamed their own horses, tilled their own fields. Like people were much more active in their own lives. Somehow, those people managed to turn grass into corn, because corn wasn't just a naturally growing thing. It started out as grass, with these little tiny corn bits on it, and people kept replanting the biggest corns, and they kept getting bigger and bigger and tastier corns. And these people weren't part of some big organization, to progress some goal in some way. They kind of become effectively an organization that doesn't actually have to be organized. It just self-organizes. So if I have some corn and I get this corn cob and it's like, it looks better than all the others, and I'm like, wow, I'm gonna replant this one, and I get some even better corn, and I go share it with my neighbors and say, hey, check out this one, it's great. And over time, all these people just kind of like accidentally working together produce this thing called corn, and lots of different varieties, and very healthy stuff, and with lots of protein and vitamins and stuff, like much healthier corn than we get today. So that all happened just because people were motivated to do it. Like there were a lot of people who needed to feed their families and wanted to feed their families, and were motivated to figure out how to get better corn. And they shared this information freely and stuff. Well, I don't know if they all shared information freely, but I'm sure people were sharing with their neighbors and stuff, and the best corn just kept getting passed around, and it was beneficial to everyone to keep progressing this. Now, fast forward to today, we're basically growing one kind of corn. Like most of the corn in the world is this one kind of corn that you can't even eat, but you can turn it into corn syrup or fuel for your cars. So benefits and stuff, and just reducing it to like basically one type of corn, that wasn't individuals, that was because they could make lots of money off this corn syrup and off. The company's motivation isn't to make something that's good for people. The company's motivation is to satisfy their investors, to make money. I mean, that's it, just the bottom line. We got to make organizations that are motivated solely by money, you just get bad results. You can get really big results, like one food company can like basically wipe out all the varieties of corn in the world and turn it into like corn syrup and ethanol, and that's it. Corn alive, which is great. But one company can do a really big thing quickly, but if they're not motivated in the right way, it doesn't matter. I would much rather have a whole bunch of people who are just kind of accidentally organized, just automatically organized by their own shared motivations to do something better. That's how you get the good big change. And another thing is like those companies, they also discourage people from doing things themselves because they make more money that way. So, all the advertisements, and they get the governments involved and start making regulations where you're actually not allowed to build your own house or your own car or anything. And, people today are very restricted in what they're even allowed to do, and then even further restricted by just the discouragement. Don't risk, failure and all this. Just go buy the thing or do the official thing or, follow your instruction book. And people have just been basically turned into sheep, into zombies. Now, with the internet and things like YouTube and, doing things like I'm doing right now, there is definitely kind of a resurgence of people wanting to do things for themselves more. However, even within that, I say we have a long way to go, because there are a lot of videos showing how to do things by buying certain products and making a thing, but it's mostly just buying things and putting it together and there you go. There's not a lot of people just like totally experimenting, like making this roof I'm making right now. Like I'm just trying something I've never seen before. I don't know if it's totally going to work, but I'm giving it a shot, and I think there's a decent chance it'll work. And if there were even if like 5 or 10% of the population was just experimenting with things in their life all the time and trying things out and sharing that information, just imagine how much progress we could make and just figure out how to travel better, how to do whatever we want, instead of just getting stagnated by, everyone has to buy the same thing and just be carbon copies of everyone else. Like, I think we're really missing something, and we're making a bit of progress in that direction, but I think we really have a long way to go. We have a lot of improvement that we could make that could make life a lot better. And those crazy experimental people, and I think it's silly that experimental people are considered crazy now, but they're considered crazy now because no one else, it's the norm to just do what you're told. But, I'm trying to start a community here of these crazy people who experiment and stuff. And man, it is so hard to find people who are experimenting and really, really trying things out. And then on the odd occasion when I do find one, then it's like, what are the chances I can actually convince them to move here? So that's all going very slow. I did when I was in town yesterday, visit a guy who is one of these crazy experimental people. He's working on a boat, and he's making it himself and doing all this experimental stuff, and it's great. Maybe I should get a video of his stuff at some point. But it's so cool visiting one of these experimental people. Because it's great conversation. I get to learn all this stuff, and I really wish there were more of these people in the world, because there's a lot of fake creative people in the world, and when you run into them, they'll tell you, well, actually, oh, see this right now, this is a side effect of driving all day in a pedal boat yesterday. I'm a little tired and my brains are a little slow, so my sentences are coming out like scrambled eggs. But let me tell you this quick story that happened years and years and years ago. It was back in Vermont when I lived at my old place. Every, I don't know, Friday or something, I would go to this farm and they'd have, like kind of a little party, and, we'd eat stuff that came from the farm. And, one of these days we worked on a cob, hung out and stuff, and it was great. And one day I was sitting around with this group of people eating some tasty food, and they were asking me, a lady comes along and sits down with us, and she's like, oh, I built my house too. And I started asking her questions. We all started asking her questions about the house she built. But immediately, she kept giving all these weird answers, and it became clear that she didn't actually build the house. She paid people to build the house. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to get in this fight. But luckily, this other girl in the group said to her, well, what we were talking about before was actually building the house oneself. If you didn't actually pick up the hammer and the saw and, do stuff, that means you didn't build it yourself. And this lady's saying, yeah, well, I talked to the architect and I told them what I wanted the house. Insinuating that maybe she was not a creative person. She wasn't the builder. And this happens a lot when you get the fake creative people, the people who are like, okay, you build it for me, and then I'll pretend the fact that they're not actually doing it. So that's kind of frustrating. And you can tell the difference between these two people. Like if you're trying to find the real creative people, the fake creative people and the real creative people will both ask lots of questions, but how it works so they can learn and basically take this information and learn for themselves, because maybe they'll want to do some of this stuff, or just put this stuff in their library of information they can access whenever. So the more questions they ask, the more ammo they have to shoot down everything you're doing to justify themselves not being creative. So they can say, well, that doesn't actually work out right because, it's not absolutely perfect. So you should never do it yourself. You got to hire people and, follow the rules and blah, 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 blah. Anyway. And, so like real creative people really get kind of crapped on a lot by all these fake creative people, and like all the normal people who just think you're supposed to conform, get the name brand, do a thing. If a thing isn't real unless it has like a known company on it, anything custom made is not real. But I think hopefully I've been developing an audience here that gets what I'm saying, because a lot of you guys are real creative people. And the cool thing about being a creative person is you can become a creative person at any time. It's not like you have to be born with some special thing. I mean, maybe you have to have some kind of imagination, but anyone can just decide, I'm going to start trying stuff out for myself. And I would encourage anyone, if you want to make like a big difference in the world, join this unorganized group of, self-organizing, this big, or experimenting and trying to progress, ways to live and stuff and do things. So I would encourage anyone to do that. If you're ever trying to figure something out and you have an idea of your own that you might want to try, just go for it. Don't worry about it if it doesn't work out. That's part of the creative process. You try things and you learn things, and the more things you try, the more things you learn. That's pretty much everything I have to say about that. Oh, I've gone on for like 17 minutes already, except I didn't say anything about it for the first. But hey, Dashaina, are you around? I think she had some questions for me to answer. So what do you guys think about all that? I found an island that I can drive to in America. Would you rather live in the middle of able to drive to my island? So my island right now it's kind of hard to actually get into. It's not hard, but it's sort of a little bit, what's the word? Like the entrance is hidden. And I really enjoy that. I don't want people to just be able to drive up. Does the video keep pausing? I don't know. Our internet may not be super fast right now. I don't know. The speed goes up and down because, hey, Let's see, what else do we got on here? I never paid people to fix my stuff. Ah, tomaters. I would have guessed. I always repair my stuff to save money to give to the Jaimo show. Oh, that's so sweet, man. Oh, last part is not true. Oh, you son of a little bastard. Yeah, Dashaina's concerned that the baby's gonna wake up because I'm being too loud. It's lag. Yeah, so tomaters, what you just said, you know, it may not be true. Sometimes I'll say things and then finish it with the preceding statement may not be true. You know, like at the end of commercials, which makes me laugh. Hi, Dashaina, Mr. Landfill says.
Hi.
Look, this is your job. You're supposed to read these, so I don't get distracted by them.
You can just stop doing that now.
Yeah, sorry it's choppy. Hey, tell it to reduce the, what's that stuff called? Resolution. Can we reduce the resolution?
I can't change anything about.
Yeah, I know. I'm just playing though. Okay. Maybe we could reduce my head to like 1 pixel, and then maybe I'll be kind of pretty. What do you got going on there? You had some questions earlier about the last video I put up. What were those questions? Oh, one was, why don't I just make one big tile for the entire roof? So the last video I put up was Wednesday, and it was when what was I doing in that one?
You were putting a tile up on the roof.
Okay, so I started actually tiling the roof. So I'm making these concrete tiles on the roof. And the reason I don't put just one giant tile over the entire roof is because, I mean, the roof is already just like a big concrete dome. I mean, it started out basically as a big tile. And the problem with a thing that's that big and concrete is it gets like little cracks. And, you know, not anything major, just like little hairline cracks. But that lets water in, so I'll get drips here and there. And it's not a lot of drips, but I would like to have 0 drips. You know, 0 drips would be great. So I want to make tiles small enough that they won't crack, and make it so they can move on the roof. So if the roof cracks, and it'll crack over time because concrete cracks, it's going to crack and get little hairline cracks that water could get through. But if my tiles can kind of float on top of those and stay intact while the roof under is, cracking a little bit, then it should keep the water out, hopefully.
Somebody would like to know, how did you convince Dashaina to move to an island? I've been arguing with my partner about it, and I'm finally almost able to move forward with buying one.
Oh, nice. Where are you going? I want to, give us some more information. We'd like to know. The first time I spoke with Dashaina, I asked you 2 questions, and one of them was, if you could live anywhere, where would it be and what would it be like? And she basically described, like, did you say on an island? It was like out in the ocean with like a walkway and little huts on it, and it was, I mean, it's not exactly like what we've got here, but it was.
Live anywhere in the universe, and I described a completely different planet.
But we can't get to another planet.
I know.
At
I'm
the
just
moment.
saying.
But you described another planet that had lots of ocean and walkways,
and very few people.
Like boardwalks through the oceans and little huts along the boardwalk and animals.
And hamsters.
Did you have an island or just boardwalks through the ocean?
I think the whole world was just a bunch of islands in general.
I need to talk quieter because you're talking quiet.
I'm not going to talk louder than this because
I'll
I know
talk
the
quieter.
microphone can hear it.
All right.
Fine.
So basically, Dashaina described roughly this place already.
Yeah.
Fewer people, not so many
More
people,
hamsters.
and more ocean. Like that's like one of the major reasons we stuck together. Like, we immediately didn't get along with each other when we met, and I'd say we've greatly improved that. Like, we can hang out once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, we can hang out once a week doing this without strangling each other, without anyone saying the F word. But when we met, it was terrible. But we both had like similar kind of living lifestyle goals.
Is the same person, and I think you should say something about this. But so he said, and this I think I have an issue with, I found an island in Florida, Belize, Costa Rica, Bahamas, and South Carolina. So no, you haven't found an island. Like, he's found a bunch of potential things that he's not gone to.
I don't know.
Like that, because the first comment he says was, I found an island in America that I could drive to. But then...
Oh, you're just shopping right now. But he's shopping. Have you found like
Yeah,
if
so I
you
wanna know,
found
like,
one
have
that
you
you want,
actually, like, right,
have you
that's,
gone
like,
to them? Have
have
you
you
visited
gone to
one?
them? That's the big question, because the thing is, like, you're not gonna be able to convince your partner of anything unless, like, you have, like, a more solidified concept.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
sounds like a very vague kind of not ever gonna happen thing when you talk
Right.
about a whole bunch. Like you gotta figure out a place and be like, this is it. This is the one I want.
Absolutely would
And
not move to Belize.
what's that?
The
Hurricanes?
hurricanes.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, somebody just asked, what do you think of Belize? No, it's no.
I'm gonna center us better.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was one of the
yeah.
things we liked about where we are in Panama. There was a hurricane in 1960 something. Like,
Yeah.
there hasn't been a hurricane here
But
in
it
my
wasn't
lifetime.
even here.
Yeah, it wasn't even here.
It was like in the mainland, down more.
More toward Panama City.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like anywhere in the country, there hasn't been a hurricane here in my lifetime.
Yeah.
There are some storms, but nothing
The weather,
nothing
I'd say,
crazy.
is fairly mild, so that's why I think it's a big, like, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, snowstorms. I mean, going down the list of things that happen
Yeah.
across the planet, I think the worst thing that happens here is when we go through a drought for like 8 weeks.
Yeah. Or if it rains
A
for
lot.
like a ton.
For like a month.
But I mean,
But even
neither of
that,
those things
yeah.
is that big a deal.
I
It's
mean,
more just like, oh, come on, man, can you switch already?
And I mean, like, the roads get washed out on the mainland, but that doesn't affect us.
Doesn't really affect
like,
us, yeah.
So, like, it's really, I think we're in a very unique location.
I wouldn't say unique. I think there are other locations, but it is like one of the locations on the planet where the weather is pretty chill. There's no serious disasters. Like, yeah.
I think I mean unique in the sense of.
Do you know what the word unique actually means?
No, tell me.
Unique because I am the only Jaimie Mansell. I'm the only me. You're unique because you're only you. But you're not uniquely female.
Right.
Because there are lots of them.
Cool. So let's
But
see.
people do use the word unique incorrectly a lot.
Yeah. Let me see what else. So you were talking about your thoughts on a partner, convincing a partner to move here. Or not here, but you specifically were talking about.
Well, when we were living in Vermont, do you remember what I said to you about moving to an island? I remember asking, I have this vague recollection of saying something to you about it, like, hey, what do you say about moving to an island in a couple years? And you were just like,
conversation, but I'm sure I said fine.
Yeah, you're just like, all right.
So, like, I'm sure whatever
you
the
didn't.
answer was fine.
And I think
that sounds great.
Yeah, and I think I said, well, do you have any questions or anything? You're like, no, I trust you. That's whatever.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
that's pretty much how it went. But you didn't. The thing is, like, when you have someone who wants to live in a city, you didn't want to live in a city anyway.
No.
So that makes it a lot easier. But when you have someone who's like stuck on living in a city, that person is hard to convince.
Right.
To move off grid or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult to convince somebody who doesn't want to be convinced.
Well, yeah.
Like, I would say, like, a lot of women tend to fall into the category of not really wanting to be convinced in the first place. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how to explain that better, but
I don't know. Yeah. Can you explain it better?
I'm trying to think of how.
You want me to tell you what I think that means?
Oh yeah, sure.
This is gonna sound horribly sexist, but I mean this happens with guys too, but since we're talking about women partners, which is usually the way this question goes, I'm just gonna talk about women, so just relax. A lot of women who are in cities are very into the luxuries of cities, and luxuries are addictive. You know, it's like necessities aren't addictive. Like necessities, I don't know, I guess, like you know you need them, and I don't know, they're just not addictive. But luxuries become addictive. Like anything you don't really need but you kind of end up wanting, and you kind of get comfortable with the idea that you're going to get this treat all the time. And that's what cities are all about. Cities are all about, treats. Like there's all this luxury stuff around and not much of what people really need, like no necessities. Now, necessities are brought in on trucks. So all the food is trucked in, all the, the water's piped in, all the necessities you need are pumped into the city. But what's actually in the city is basically just luxuries, and people get hooked on that, and they think if they move out of a city, they're going to lose all these luxuries that they're addicted to, and oh my gosh, my quality of life is going to go down the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Krupke, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, would like to know if we're still looking for others to come help you guys.
I've never really looked for people to help me.
Yeah.
I want to have a community here of other people who are like neighbors, who take care of themselves. Like that's the main feature that I would want in neighbors, like people who take care of themselves first. And then, if they occasionally need help with something, fine. But for the most part, I want friends who handle their own crap, like I handle my own crap. And then if we want to do something together, it's because we want to collaborate on something, not because the other person, broke their motor and doesn't have enough money to fix it, so they come over and they're like, you have to fix this for me, the whole helpless thing, that's not the kind of neighbors I want. I want the kind of neighbors who have their stuff taken care of, and then we can hang out and be like, okay, I've got my stuff taken care of, you've got your stuff taken care of. What do we want to do in addition to that? Like, what else could we do that would make life amazing after we've got, our basic necessities taken care of?
Astral Economics would like to know, how is your mental health and peace of mind on your island versus living in a confined population? Because my problem is insensation to my environment, and I hate how the masses are controlled.
I didn't totally understand all of that,
he wants to know, how is your mental health and peace of mind on your island versus living in a confined population? I think living in a city.
Like living in a city, yeah. Well, I understood all that part. Anyway, I love it. Yeah, and my mental health is pretty good. Occasionally I get lonely, like when the kids are here and not at my house.
Oh, he said he's sensitive. It was a typo. I'm sensitive to my environment, and I hate how the masses are controlled.
I'm sensitive to my environment too, like extremely sensitive to everything around me. Whenever I go to a city, I always have to be like, okay, shields up, just like put the blinders on and make it so things don't affect me. Because if I'm walking around around the masses, without that, I could just feel all the depression and the complacency, is that it? And the capitulation, is that the word? Just the zombies, just watching all these people like just wasting away, just kind of not throwing away their lives, but just letting them slowly dribble away as they try to act like they're enjoying themselves, but really just miserable on the inside. Like I can just, yeah, I don't like it. Okay. Not that everyone's like that. It's just a lot of people are like that, and I see it, and it makes me feel terrible. So I have to like put shields up whenever I'm in a city. And at my place on my island, it's great. Yeah, good vibes there, because it's all my vibes, and I'm like, I'm always trying to make my environment around me better than it was.
Have you ever Great Northwest alcohol?
No, I haven't done that.
Do you have any that brings me to the question that I was saying earlier about the hydrogen generator. Somebody asked if you consider building one, or have considered building one, and what your thoughts are.
I would be much more likely to split water into hydrogen and oxygen than to make an alcohol thing. Although, I mean, I'm not against making an alcohol thing. Maybe at some point I'll do that. But what's it called? Electrolysis, putting electric current into water to split the atoms into hydrogen and oxygen. Then you can capture the hydrogen and the oxygen, and then you can recombine them and light them on fire, and you can weld with it, or weld with it, or,
or, do other things
too. But I don't know, like it would take a lot for things too, but I don't know, like it would take a lot to like fuel a boat or something like that. So I probably wouldn't do that, but like some smaller things. Now another another thing I've thought about is just making like a Zeppelin, you know, an airship, filling that with hydrogen. Man, that would be a lot of hydrogen.
Do you think you were talking about
And
hydrogen squeaky voice the whole time?
does it happen with hydrogen? I don't think you can just inhale hydrogen.
Helium.
Yeah, no, helium. I don't think you can just inhale hydrogen because I think it would kill you.
I think it would too.
And you can do it with helium. You can do it with helium because it's not reactive, which is also nice for something like an airship because you know hydrogen.
That's why I thought helium
can explode.
But yeah, it explodes.
Yeah. Or burn, whatever.
Somebody
Still, it would be cool to be driving around in a helium-filled airship as long as it wasn't burning.
Anonymatron has shared that the word fan means annoying in Chinese. He hears it regularly. Apparently, Anonymatron
is he in China?
Environment.
I see. I did enjoy my time in China.
Oh yeah, that was many years ago. Many
years ago now, yeah. Mostly because I shouldn't say I enjoyed all of it, but overall, I really enjoyed the factory owner. Where I worked, we became good friends, and we hung out a lot and did stuff. And he'd take me to all these cultural Chinese things, and then we also, you know, did lots of work on robot toys and stuff, which eventually made it into stores, which was very exciting.
Jeff Kirky has further followed up with...
I want to know what he's doing with his bubble cement.
We'll ask him.
Hey Jeff, what are you doing with your bubble cement? How's that going?
And we would like to know, would you sell a piece of property to be neighbors?
Possibly, but there is land around.
There's land available that's near us.
Yeah.
I would hesitate to sell any of our property. I'd rent it before I'd sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the way we've been doing it so far is, like if someone wants to come and rent a spot for a while, I mean, I rent it out cheap always. I'm not trying to make money off something or anything. But I also don't want to just like, you know, let someone live on my land for free, which I was originally doing. And man, when you give people stuff for free, they're just, horrible. So once I started charging rent for people to stay on my land, things got much better. But anyway, so yeah, like there are people who've rented spots on our land and stayed for a while to check it out. Mm-hmm. And, you know, with the potential of, you know, buying land. And, you know, one couple came and rented a spot for, I don't know, they were here for 3 months, and then they bought their own land close by. And that worked out really well.
Let's see, where were we? I just saw a question. Hold on. Where'd it go?
I'll just make faces while you're doing that.
That's okay. Another view would like to say that you know what gets away from war or nuclear leak or war? Sailboats.
Oh, what can get away?
Yeah.
Like if nuclear war comes, then you can...
They're having a conversation about like, you know, if you have problems with living in a controlled masses environment, like get out of the U.S. basically, or any large city. The
problem is if World War III comes and there's nukes, a lot of people aren't going to have a chance to run away.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to be, like even if you're in a place where you have a sailboat, I mean, once the nukes are flying, man.
Well, I mean, I think the key there is really just to go to a country where they really won't get involved, which is kind of like where we are. Yeah,
I think here is a pretty good area because most of our wind comes off the ocean, and hopefully they're not going to nuke the ocean, so we shouldn't get too much radiation from that. But maybe the Panama Canal would get blown up, but that's all the way the other end of the...
Kind of what I mean.
But who knows?
Like, but who knows?
Let's just not have the nuclear war. That would be great.
So let's see.
Although I do want to have like a big sailboat at some point, you know, just in case.
Todd Kigas, Kigas. How would you pronounce that?
Kigis.
Yeah.
Kigas.
He found an AC unit for us on eBay. He's just waiting to get it and hopes that we like it.
Well, what is it?
I don't know.
Does it run off DC?
I hope so.
If it runs off AC, that's probably a problem. We won't be able to use it. because they use too much energy
Yeah.
for. Yeah, but if you're running off DC, then that's
DC
much
is the way
more.
to go.
Yeah.
But apparently the
reasonable.
AC units that run off of DC still need a battery.
Well, that's not the worst thing in the world.
No,
but
I know. I watched a whole video about this guy. He does these like.
Is that because it has to be regulated?
I think it has to be
voltage?
regulated or
Yeah.
something. So, I didn't read the reasoning, but I'm
maybe I'll just
guessing
6 years from now, after I finish the roof and my workshop and done the boat thing and like gotten the food growing and blah 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 blah, maybe I'll make my own AC unit that runs on anything.
Well, I was thinking
and then
about
I'll share the information of
the propane refrigerator kind of comes to mind, and like, couldn't you do something, not necessarily propane, I just mean obviously.
This is the absorption thing that's different than the compressor type.
Right.
Yeah.
And like,
totally different
couldn't you
thing.
essentially make like something using that concept where that direct plugs into the solar panels to create the heat thing to heat up
totally.
And then make air conditioning like
that just runs by something heating up a part. That's all you need, and a fan.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that you get power. I mean any heat source would do that.
Right. So I'm just thinking. Like,
so yeah, you could run something
something
directly
like
off
that.
solar panels. Get a hot plate even. Just yeah, that would be.
I was just talking about when you just said I want to build.
You're talking about my what?
And then it got me thinking, about the ammonia, is that, it's
ammonia?
Ammonia? Yeah, ammonia.
Ammonium.
I was combining aluminum and ammonia together. That'd be weird. Anyway, yeah, it just got me thinking, like, if you...
Some chemistry nerd's going to tell us what that is.
Yeah.
Aluminum.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, the next question. Oh, so nobody, that's funny. It's like potty with a B.
No potty?
No body.
No body?
No body.
No body?
Says there's
I like Pig-Ass's name.
There's a guy on YouTube that built an AC with water and calcium.
Oh, we should look that up.
Interesting. Okay, wait, I missed
Although,
a couple questions, I think.
Having air conditioning isn't a high priority for me. It's more for you on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not ready for it yet. In a couple months it will be, though.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
But yeah,
question.
Yeah, I might get into that at some point.
Do you consider, Terry Zabone would like to know, I keep wanting to say Terry Zaboni, just because I don't know, that just sounds like it
Terry
should
Zaboni,
say that.
sure.
Zabon.
Zaboni.
Do you consider yourself a prepper, nature, off-grid guru?
I don't know.
No.
I'm just a guy. I don't know.
You're just what did you decide you were last week?
I don't remember. A turbo pickle or something? I don't know.
You're a manly man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm a manly man. Jaimo, I'm a manly man. That's right. I'm a manly man.
Okay.
I don't know.
Too much.
I think that's the kind of thing that other people would have to see you as.
Yeah, I would say no. You're definitely not a prepper. I mean, in terms of what I understand them to be.
Well, I don't know what it is.
So.
I don't know the actual definitions. I like to be prepared.
Yeah.
As well as I can be.
Feld would like to know, would you be open to me coming down to meet you and trying to document your builds? I have a note-taking thing I'm working on and want to see if it works, what the weak spots are.
Is that
Eric, send an email.
Wait, let me read that sentence.
It had a slash. I just didn't say slash.
Oh.
I just paused.
Meet you in trying to document your builds. I have a note-taking thing I'm working on and want to see if it works, what the weak spots are. Note-taking.
It puts up the documents describing in detail of how.
Can you handle camping?
Yeah.
Camping lifestyle.
So
do you
Eric,
need luxuries?
Send us an email to.
Oh, the Adventure Builder movie at gmail.
Definitely in the description today.
It's
in all the other ones too. But anyway, and the same thing goes for Jeff. So Jeff, Eric, and Astral Economics, if you haven't already sent us an email about your questions specifically relating to coming here for whatever reasons, do that, and then we can have further
Yes, we can discuss it and figure out what works and whatever. Because I've realized that trying to come up with some kind of like standard, like you can visit under these circumstances kind of thing. Yeah, it's like.
Well, it kind of does.
There's no way to cover all the different situations.
I have it all covered.
Really?
On my advertisement.
Oh. What's your advertisement?
It goes like this. If you want to come, I will supply you with a roof over your head and a fire pit. And a bed, like a mattress. You will provide all your other things.
This is on your like work away.
Yeah. But that covers it.
Or is it your couch surfing?
It's all of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
I don't even know what all the things you have.
It's okay.
Aren't they like all turned off right now?
Yeah, they're all turned off.
Oh.
I'm done with people for a while. Because people are great.
You mean like the last visitors who came and got the whole family sick? Oh,
yeah.
they were cool. I liked them.
No, I was talking about the one after that. Anyway, moving on.
What was the one after that?
We're going to move on. So, would you, let's see, have you ever thought about farming animals and selling to the masses for manufacturing while on your island? No.
Not really.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that.
No.
I have a hard enough time killing animals to eat them in the first place, so yeah.
Was it just about animals, or was it the manufacturing?
Farming animals and selling to the masses.
Or manufacturing while on your island.
Yeah, I don't know which.
I mean, I might.
It was the letter P.
I might build some boats to sell or something. I wouldn't want to do anything like mass produce. Like, I'm kind of against mass production, you know.
Somebody wants to know, impotent man-child. Wait, I think I asked another question.
Impotent man-child. Do you keep moving farther away from me?
No, I'm literally not moving.
Literally? Literally.
Wants to know, how do they get income?
How do we get income?
Meaning they, meaning we.
Well, I have a Patreon. That's where I get most of my income.
Yeah. AdSense.
I wouldn't say it's a lot. AdSense is not that much. Though. Oh, don't do that. People are going to think it's like thousands of dollars.
I mean, it's not that much for like normal people, but like for us, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the thing is like I reduce the amount of money I need to live. Just by, no rent. I build everything myself. I have my own. I built the boats, which cost way more than buying a boat. Oh my God, buying a boat is so expensive. And then, none of my boats use fuel. I only have one thing that runs on fuel, and that's a chainsaw, which I don't use that often. Everything else is solar power, human power. Yeah, it's just, I've reduced the cost of my life really low to the point where the amount that we get from our internet stuff pretty much keeps up. Although I feel like
once made a screenshot. I don't know if I can. Let me see. Oh, I might be able to. This monkey face that you make, apparently.
Oh, wait, hold on.
So tell me when you're going to do it, and then I can do it and just test.
The kids love this monkey face, too. I don't know why.
I don't know if it'll let me. Hold on. Oh, it did. Wait. It did it.
All right, great.
Okay, tomatoes. I'll post that in my Patreon page for you later.
Anyway, we sort of make enough money. Yeah. Although we may also be slowly weeding, what do you call it? Gobbling into our savings a little bit. I don't know if we're staying ahead or below.
I think we're ahead.
Oh, good. So we're putting a little bit away mostly, except when I went to get all that stuff from town, the delivery cost to get it into Panama was more than we make in a month.
Right, but that was several months.
That was a lot of stuff, but yeah, we need to not order anything for a while. Like if we're just like eating food and like doing stuff here, then we're okay on our current income.
That didn't eat into our savings. I paid 50% of that out of different money that wasn't savings. But my point is,
but it's still using money that's not income. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It was like gift money that used. Like, I feel like fans got that stuff, basically. You don't agree. That's what I
paid for the shipping?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like, essentially that's where that money came from, half of it.
Oh, I didn't even want to get into it.
Yeah.
We always totally disagree on everything to do with money.
Yeah, it's okay.
So we just look at it completely differently. You did move. You totally moved. You were over here, now you're over there.
Sorry.
No, you don't. It's fine. It's just you're saying you weren't moving further away from me, and you insisted that you weren't moving, and you did.
Okay.
You're busted. That's it.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. You're busted.
Right.
And the only reason she's not mad at me right now is because the camera's on. You're mad. Oh no, she's doing the face. Okay, let's move on.
Project.
The next project. Well, okay, I gotta get the roof done. Then I want to build a lumber mill and start cutting wood for the second and third floors. while also planting, continuing to plant food. And to get the lumber mill powered, I need to put up some more solar panels somewhere. So I was thinking about putting up a little building on the hill behind my house, and I want to dig out some of the area up there and take the dirt and make like a walkway down the hill. That's, real gradual slope, so we can, move the Egyptian blocks up and down. No, more like so we can drive carts or wheelbarrows or kids' scooters up and down, whatever. And then maybe use some of that dirt in the lower areas just to keep them above high tide. I don't know. It's like at any point in time, there's like a dozen different things all going at the same time, and it's a little bit overwhelming trying to keep track of it all. And I had the same situation when I was in Vermont for the first several years. When I first moved off grid. But after a few years, I got enough things taken care of that, I wasn't constantly working on like a dozen different things at once. I could kind of focus on one thing really well. And that was cool. So hopefully within a few years here, I'll have a lot of this extraneous stuff taken care of. Once the house is totally wrapped up, I get the second and third floors done, I can move a bunch of the stuff that's on the first floor up to where it's supposed to go. And, get some of the landscaping done, and, I'll be able to kind of focus more on one thing at a time, which will be nice. I'll get there. Just have to keep going. Right now I'm kind of...
Okay, what do you think about a floating island that travels with ocean currents?
Well, you just end up in the garbage patch then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be cool. I'd like to have a floating island. I thought about doing that.
But like with the ocean currents? It'd be like a turtle.
I'd want to control my
location?
Traveling a little more than just going with the ocean currents. Because what if you get sucked into a hurricane and it's like, oh crap, the current's going toward the hurricane. Well, traveling with the ocean current, so I guess let's go. No, I'd want to have a little more say in where I'm going than just the currents. But yeah, being on a floating island would be awesome. I mean, it's basically a boat, like living on a boat.
Jeff Krupke responded saying, hoping to build the aircrete factory in Belize.
Oh, cool.
So
that guy's going to make an aircrete factory in Belize and make aircrete bricks and stuff. Nice.
Let's see.
What I want to
find the question. Can you guys make sure that you're typing question in front of things, which is why I'm staring at the screen so long, because I'm trying to figure out which things are questions.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to say that.
It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah,
or
good.
Put like a caution. Somebody's using like a caution sign in front of it, like bright yellow stands out.
Just write, if you have a question, just write in capital letters, question.
Yeah.
And then ask the question, because then it's easy to find. Yeah, okay. I should have said that at the beginning of the thing.
And if I haven't answered your question, just ask it again. I've got a question from B. Hartley 1024. It says, do you think living off grid is feasible with no money? What are some ways you recommend for making a little cash off grid?
Well, living off grid isn't...
I mean, you could be homeless.
I don't think that's the reason you need money. You need money so you don't get thrown in jail by the government. Like that's basically what money, yeah, you can use money to buy food and stuff, but once you can figure out all that stuff, if you're hunting or growing enough food, and I do at some point want to be growing all our own food here and have like basically no living expenses. I'll still have to, buy materials to build things or whatever, anytime I want to do a project or whatever. But I do want to have our basic needs all taken care of. So living off grid, it depends where you are, where you're living. A lot of places have, what's that?
Yes, raise your hand. That's excellent. If you have the little hand icon, you could do that too.
A lot of places have land tax. So if you have some land and you're trying to live there off grid and you have to pay land tax and you don't have the money, the government comes and tells you to get out. Like, yeah, it's just dealing with the bureaucracy of the world. You often need some money, but I'm sure there's some places where you can get away with having no money. But What was the other part of the question? Like, what can you do to get a little bit here and there? Just do, like, be a competent person and work for people. So, like, when I was living in Vermont, when I first went off grid, before I started making any money off this YouTube stuff, and actually, I wasn't really making any money off doing this for the first, I don't know, many years. I was doing renovations for people, like renovating houses, or I built a guy a greenhouse out of the old windows in his house. And, I would do this kind of stuff. And mostly I got jobs just by word of mouth, because I'd do a good job for someone. And they would tell their friends, oh, we got this great guy who did all this work. And their friends would come over and say, oh, wow, who did this? How much did it cost? Who did he do a good job? He was reliable. Oh, what's his name? And then I would get calls from people who would just be like, oh, my friend recommended you for this thing because you seemed like you did a good job and you knew what you were doing. Can you, redo our back deck or whatever? And then I would just talk to them. And probably the most difficult thing for me was like negotiating prices and stuff. Because like, I don't like to get all, like, I just want to be helpful, but you gotta get paid. So, that was the hardest part of the business for me. It was just like, all right, I got to calculate how much I need to get paid. And well, actually, one of the ways I did it was I talked with people who either had work done or who were contractors, and I'd find out kind of a rough idea of what other people would charge for jobs. And I got kind of a rough idea of how much it costs to do like a pretty wide range of things, and I could kind of extrapolate to pretty much anything. And then I would make my price like 25% lower than the lowest price I could find any other contractor doing something. And the reason I could do that is because I did all the work myself. I didn't hire people who were, sitting around drinking beers, smoking. And like one motivated person can do way more work than like 10 unmotivated people. So, if you're willing to work hard and you're competent and you can deal with people well, like I would say just do, help people with whatever things they need help with, and get paid for it. That's kind of a reliable thing. People always need repairs and things built and stuff. Sorry.
Ken Wasiki has 3 questions. I just remembered one from earlier. He wants to know if you've ever tried a pawpaw. I think the answer is no.
What's a pawpaw? That reminds me.
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. It's a fruit. How's the fart machine? Any progress? I feel like that could
people keep asking me that. But
no, it's Ken's just
no, I know. Every week I get this question. I'm always like, well, I need to test it. But yeah, I haven't done anything in the last week. But at some point, I'm going to connect the tube to it and see if it's giving me the gas, and maybe it'll be amazing. But I just been working on other things.
And he says, this is where I think you probably should clarify that you don't use propane in your house, because he says, I feel like that could save money instead of buying propane, but you don't have.
Yeah, I don't have any propane in my house. I have no fuels other than my chainsaw, which I only use once in a while.
Now, I assume a gasifier.
You use propane, though.
Different thing, yeah, but we're not.
No, I think it's the same thing.
Okay. No,
gasifier?
Yeah, a gasifier.
I don't know.
I feel like you talked about this last week, and somebody had asked you if you would consider.
Did they ask-a-fire me?
Yeah, they did. So, okay, let's see. Anyway, so Ken Wasiki's question is your refrigerator 12-volt or propane powered?
I have no refrigerator.
But you're building one.
I do have, I started building one. I have this like a foam box that I made that's pretty good. Well, it's bigger than this. And I have the parts, the guts of a refrigerator to put it together. But I want to line the foam with something because it's styrofoam, and I don't want it to get, it's going to get chewed up and wrecked. Mostly by kids putting stuff in and taking it out, or running past and smashing it or whatever. So I need to figure out what to line it with. And I was thinking about lining the outside with concrete, wrapping it with like mesh, and then putting a thin smear of mortar over it. That should protect it pretty well. And, if it gets smashed by some kid with his lightsaber or something, it'll be easy to repair because it's just concrete and smear over mortar. But then on the inside, have a couple different ideas. I might put tiles on the inside and just fit them in, and maybe glue them in, like with some silicone or something, or maybe use that refrigerator that'll run on DC, so I can run it like right off. I don't know if I can run it right off the solar panels. I think that might be too high voltage, but it uses very little electricity. So if I put up another 1 or 2 solar panels at my house, then I can run it. And I do have a plan to do that. See, it's like a dozen different things going at the same time. Like at any point in time, I could pick like one of a dozen things that I could be working on. But right now, the main thing is the roof. I want to get the roof done. Of course, I can only work on that when it's cloudy, because if it's blazing sun, the concrete dries out too fast. But it also can't be raining, because then it'll wash away the. Anyway.
So today would be perfect weather.
Today would be pretty good weather. Yeah, I'm missing a chance right now.
Okay.
You know, before you get to the next question, someone said something about a car alternator. I was looking over your shoulder, and one of the things I also want to make is something I had at my place in Vermont, which was like a bicycle with a car alternator attached to it.
Which apparently still works.
Oh, good. And you know, on a stand, I'm not driving it around. But just like a stationary bike that runs a car alternator that charges batteries. Because like every once in a while, like I used to, like once or twice a week, if I felt like I wanted some exercise, I go get on that for half an hour, or whatever. Or if there was like a string of cloudy days and I wanted some electricity, I'd be like, oh, let me go ride the bike or whatever. And it was kind of nice to have. I think it would be cool to get the kids into it too, and they could be all into cycling. And maybe I could set up. Oh, I have a projector, and I could set up like a scene of like driving through some place, like driving through like Star Wars scenes or something. But you have to be driving your bike to do it. Man, those kids would get huge legs, so many muscles. Discúlpeme.
La próxima cuestión es acerca del diferente idioma.
¿Por qué?
Porque ellos vivir en el todo diferente país, en Japón.
¿En Panamá?
No, en Japón.
Japón. ¿Dónde es Japón?
Preguntar nosotros si nosotros pensó es difícil para nosotros, porque el idioma es muy diferente con el original idioma.
So the question is it difficult for us to deal with a new language?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I was just demonstrating that we could speak Spanish and that you sort of understand it.
Yeah, I can understand it as long as it's not too fast.
Yeah.
Like for example, yesterday I was in the grocery store when I was in town, and this
Ayer el visitar la tienda.
Sí. I wonder if this person is watching this and can understand English too.
No, they speak English. They live in Japan, and he wants to know if we found it difficult because of the language barrier, because they're finding it difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like we're okay parts of it, because if I don't want to talk to someone, it's so easy to not talk to someone. But if someone talks to me in English, I can't pretend that I don't. Well, no, I can. But anyway.
Yeah, you totally can. Don't worry about it.
He was trying to reach for some, what's that, granola?
Yeah.
Up on a high shelf. She couldn't reach it. And I came around the corner and I was like, ¿Quiere ayudarte? Do you want me to help you? And she's like, sí. So I got it for her. And then she said a whole bunch of stuff really fast in Spanish. And I was like, todo bien. And I walked away. I have no idea what she said to me, but she could have been saying, hey, would you like to come back to my place and hang out? Which I would say, like, no, that's a little too fast. But
yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, mostly it's just, like, I would not call this lady an attractive lady. She was pleasant, though. A few weeks ago, I was trying to find some guy to buy some junk. Doesn't matter. Well, it matters because I want some junk, I need some junk. But he wasn't around, but this lady was there and she knew him. And we ended up having a conversation for like half an hour about all kinds of stuff, just about like in the area and stuff. And that was because, well, she was married to a gringo, so she knew some English, but mostly she knew how to speak slowly.
Yeah.
So like someone who doesn't have excellent Spanish can understand. So, and part of the difficulty I have.
Más despacio.
Yeah. Part of the problem I have is like if I'm not paying attention and I just blurt out something in Spanish, it sounds like I know how to speak Spanish fairly well. And I used to have this problem when I visited France too. Like I could say it pretty well, but then someone would respond to me and I'd be like, yeah, that was all the words I know, sorry.
I would say that, I mean, not to interrupt you, but I would say my experience with people and languages generally is that where they have some language that they can speak, but then they have no ability to comprehend when it's spoken to them because their focus is so much on what do I say, instead of like, I'm not saying you, but people in general, instead of listening and not speaking as much.
No, for me, it's just that I have a limited vocabulary.
Yeah.
So when I talk, I just say the same words. Like I don't have like 8 different words for snow. I would just say nieves.
Yeah.
I mean, not that people have a lot of words for snow here because there's like no snow.
There's so much snow.
But like, you know, but when someone talks back to me, they'll use sentences. So you're not always saying the same words over and over. And then I'm just like, I'm not sure what you said. Can you say it slower and use the dumb words?
Yeah.
But yeah, that lady, the second lady I was talking about, she once she realized that Spanish was not great for me, well, I wouldn't say I'm uncomfortable. I was very comfortable talking to her once she spoke slower and, you know, kind of dumbed it down a little. Right. And I do the same thing. Like if I meet someone and English isn't their first language, I'll make sure I speak very clearly. Because, you know, when you're speaking English to like people who speak English, you'll slur a lot of words and use slang and stuff like that. But if I'm talking with someone who English isn't their first language, I won't use any slang and I'll make sure I use complete words and good sentences, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really,
I wouldn't just say yeah, I'd say yes.
Yeah, I only did the Spanish thing because I was answering the question the silly way when I was speaking Spanish earlier to you and you understood me. I was just saying because the question, anyway, it doesn't matter. Moving on. So apparently Eric speaks some Spanish. He says, mi español es así, pero puedo comprender que tú dices.
Mi español es basura. My Spanish is garbage.
So I've already seen a few comments about evaporative cooling. And
yeah, what about it?
Maybe we should explain why it doesn't work here.
Oh, evaporative cooling. Okay. So this is a thing where you can basically cool things with the evaporation of water, you know, in clay pots and stuff like that. It's just too humid here.
Yeah, basically.
Like that works like if you're in a very dry place. It works great. Right. But here it doesn't work at all. And I actually tried it when we were in Vermont and it was too humid there too.
Oh yeah, it's so humid there.
And it was more humid there than here, like in the forest. Yeah. It might have worked in the winter when it was drier.
Maybe. We didn't try it in the winter because it was so
everything was frozen. But that was cool. Like one cool thing about living in a cold place is like for half the year you just had automatic refrigeration. Like just put something by the front door or just outside the front door and it was cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Or frozen. Yeah, like frozen. Remember we did some of those food shows? Yeah. Dashaina used to get us weird jobs like food sample lady jobs or like we worked at some food shows. Yeah. And you know, when a food show was over, people would just be getting rid of all their stuff and we'd come home with like boxes and boxes full of like, you know, breakfast sausages. And I don't mean just breakfast sausage, like sausages that have like eggs and bacon in the sausage or like hamburger sausages or like big things of tortillas, like hundreds of tortillas. Or remember there were whoopie pies. I only got one of those because it was too much sugar. Oh God, it was
I got like the best shirt from it though. It was
the shirts were great
shirt with the rainbow across it and it had the dark red edging. Anyway,
the point is we got tons of food and we could just, it was in the middle of the winter, so the doggitos, we could just leave it like in the snow.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was fine, you know.
All right, so somebody else would like to know, have you considered different crops? You mentioned crops.
Crops. I like cropped.
I don't know why I said that. Anyway.
The one I'm most excited about is popcorn, but I'm having some difficulty growing it.
There's something I watched the other day about this.
Yeah.
So, and we could probably do this. I mean, you can try it. I'm not going to right now, but you can grow. You remember the stuff that I used to have growing in the yard, the red striped amaranth?
Yeah.
Well, you can get amaranth and grow it and pop it like popcorn.
What?
Yeah. Anyway.
You gotta get that stuff again. What, like the seeds?
Yeah, the seeds. Because
No
the
way.
seeds can be cooked like a
Wait,
like
why
a
did we
grain
never do
substitute.
this? I guess we just didn't know.
I didn't know.
You don't have any
saw
of
it
it.
by accident.
You don't have any of it now, right?
I mean, I don't think so, but it pops up in my yard every now and then.
Well, keep some. Let me have some. I want to
Sure.
grow some. If I can grow some.
I thought recently. Anyway.
Well, I don't have.
I don't know if it's that same variety, but I think like we'd have to get maybe the amaranth slightly larger than the red striped amaranth.
So
the amaranth is really tiny.
Do I need to repeat the?
Wait, can I just get a screenshot of that?
That sounded so exciting until it was like, except that it totally doesn't work. Sorry, man.
I didn't say that.
The preceding statement may not be true.
Anyway, so they were saying, furthering on with the question.
I do have some new popcorn growing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping this one will do better.
Did you do it the way I told you to?
Okay. How did you tell me?
I
think I did.
You how to anyway, whatever. I'm sure you did.
I'm
sorghum apparently is drought resistant, and
good. Is it super amount of water resistant? Because it rains a lot here.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So
that's why tomatoes are difficult.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things. When I was talking about things at the beginning about people experimenting and trying things out. I wish there were more. I wish I had neighbors who were trying all this stuff out and say I have 10 neighbors who are all testing out different ways to grow popcorn or tomatoes or something. And then one of them hits gold and it's like, aha, I got it. Grow it like this. And they could tell all 10 of us how to do it. And then another one could be like, oh, this is how you do this other thing. I figured it out. And it's just having that same motivation, trying to figure it out and just sharing the knowledge makes it, you could do.
Needed to eat it with a spoon or mix it with honey and make bars.
That sounds amazing. Doesn't that sound amazing? Tiny little popcorns. I actually want to know what
now
the biggest.
I just need to buy some so we can try it and then plant them.
I want to know what the biggest popcorn in the world is.
Somebody probably knows.
It's got to be possible to have a golf ball sized popcorn kernel
in Mexico.
And still. I'm not talking.
No, I moved on. Sorry. I moved on. I can't do anything about it.
I'm gonna come crap on your face.
But
I know. I'm not saying you have to Google it.
What's important about the popped
No,
amaranth?
but giant popcorn is important.
Yeah.
They make bees that are that big.
Yeah, no, they.
You know those giant bees in Australia?
Yes.
Yeah, they make them.
Golf ball. The golf ball. Bees.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, they engineered them to be that way. This may not be true. Okay, but
I feel like we've gone off the rails here.
Further about the popped amaranth.
We're off-roading.
Is in Mexico they mix popped amaranth with honey syrup and make a snack with it that they call alegrias, which is hope. Oh, and they say happiness.
Farther away from me.
It's because this back thing's really uncomfortable.
Oh.
Anyway,
I thought it was because I smelled bad.
Traveling anywhere? Well, we kind of do, but that's
do I?
The point. A little bit on that side.
Just on this side?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I don't know what the other side smells like.
I'm gonna get extra stinky.
Oh, good. So.
Yeah. What's going on? Anyway.
No, it's fine.
All right. What's up?
Anyway, do y'all plan on traveling anywhere around the state?
The United States?
I don't know.
I'm not going back to the.
I don't know if they maybe mean.
I'm not going to North America. Or do they mean this state?
I wonder if they mean
the province?
This province, maybe. Chris, you might have to expand on your question. So.
I don't really have any. I don't have any plans in the foreseeable future to go anywhere.
I would not go anywhere in this country right now.
Oh, because there's protests and stuff.
You will literally sit on the road for 3 days.
Well, I wouldn't go on the road. I'd just drive in a boat. But I'm the way I see my life here is I found a spot that I've decided is the spot. And now, I spend all my time just trying to make it the most awesome spot in the world. To me, anyway, whatever I think that is. And that, the more amazing it gets, the more I just want to be here. I don't want to go anywhere else.
Right. Oh, there was a comment about getting back to air conditioning.
Yeah.
And somebody mentioned the EcoFlow. I actually did look up a review about it yesterday.
What's the EcoFlow?
It's this air conditioning unit that's
that's a
super
brand name.
expensive. It's like $1,200.
I'm sorry.
And I don't think the unit would cool enough of an area that I'd be willing to spend $1,200 on it. So anyway, and it works fine. It's like 290 watts on a battery, but that's still a little too, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I am familiar with the EcoFlow. Somebody else was asking about the refrigeration situation. And they wanted to know specifically, it's about, for me, this is a question for me. Dashaina doesn't answer questions on the Jaimo show.
Well, ask it to me. What's the question?
The question is, I've been really grateful. This is Ken Wasiki. I like Ken.
I like Ken too.
I've been really grateful for this format, but I thought Dashaina was getting a fridge. Maybe put Dashaina next to question.
You do your own shows.
Volt propane.
So Dashaina has her whole own channel on YouTube, and you do lives like
I do them every week.
Like every once in a while, I'll walkie-talkie her. Did you get my walkie-talkie on your live?
It probably is on one of my.
So I walkie-talkie her. I'm like, "Hey Dashaina, are you there?" Well, I never say "Hey Dashaina." It's more like
something.
Things I probably shouldn't repeat.
Yeah, don't.
But fun things.
Yeah.
And she's like, right now, did I say it on your live?
You did, I'm pretty sure.
Cake Turbo Pickles. And she's like, I'm doing a live right now. Go away. So what is like a couple times a week, at least, or something.
Two. I do one a week for sure.
Yeah. So if you have questions for her, just go on her channel or something.
Yeah.
Do you have them scheduled, or you just like spontaneously do them?
Well, sometimes I spontaneously do them, but I generally do one either Friday night or Saturday.
Oh, okay. Friday night or Saturday?
Yeah.
So how is Ken going to know when he can ask you questions?
Ken knows how to reach me.
Ken, come on, Ken.
Ken.
You know how to do this.
Plus, I also have Patreon, so...
You can open your own ketchup bottles. You can ask him.
Yeah, so... Anyway, I don't want to do a whole plug for my thing here, so...
Okay, wait, what's his name? Tomaters, ready? Push the print screen button right now.
No, I have to do it.
No, you already got it.
Oh, but I have to do it.
No, if it's on his screen...
you can do a screenshot, that's true.
Print screen button.
Print screen, well, it's screenshot on a phone.
Phone.
Tablet.
I don't know.
Oh, he might have it on his computer, it's true.
You know what I didn't answer last week? There were a bunch of questions about my video game. Was it last week or the week before that?
Oh, it was actually recent, yeah. Somebody wanted to know, okay, the questions for that was...
It was mostly, how am I... Okay, so go ahead.
Are you going to release the code, and what program are you using to code?
Yeah, I've been using Construct 2.
Not release the code, are you going to release the game? Like, to be played?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's not really a game. I mean, my first game is out there. Although I should upload the latest version, because I've added a bunch of stuff before I stopped working on it. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new stuff in the Adventure Builder. What's the game?
I don't know.
No, it's just called Adventure Builder. Just Adventure Builder.
Wait, are we talking about the new game or the old game?
The old game.
Oh yeah, Adventure
Builder. So the 2-player game, I just kind of started that, and I'm still playing with, getting it to work and stuff. Like to work, like I'm basically programming the world, like the game engine kind of. And I don't know how the game's gonna go yet. But I mean, whenever I have something to share, I'll totally share it.
Cool.
And I'll share the code. Yeah. If anyone wants the code.
Okay.
But it's like in Construct 2, so you'd have to have Construct 2, or be like a super nerd and translate it all or whatever. Super nerds are cool. They can do anything.
Okay, so
what?
You might want to. For those of you who have not followed Jaimie for that long or are not aware of our location, we are in the country of
bananas, Panamas. Yeah, we're not in the United States.
We did joke last week that we were in a studio in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually just like in the suburbs.
Yeah.
I always find, yeah.
We actually own like a $10 million series of islands right off the coast.
Yeah, and I've got 47 different channels going at the same time, and it's all fake stuff, so I'm just like raking in the dough,
Somebody would like to
I would actually have difficulty getting back in the United States now. I have to have a special paper because I legally abandoned my green card.
Yeah.
And they don't like that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, it means you're a terrorist now.
It means I'm a terrorist now. So if I go back to the United States, if I don't have that paper, they will not let me in, they say.
So.
Although I did get into the United States once under totally the wrong circumstances. Like I had no visa, nothing. This was pre 9/11 when they were like, you're Canadian. All right, just go ahead.
So, one of my fans, who's also one of your fans, confirmed that the walkie-talkie was on the live.
Oh, good. Did you hear what I said? Was it? Oh, hopefully it wasn't one of the really perverted ones.
It wasn't.
Okay, good.
It was fine. Somebody was asking why.
Because whenever I call Dashaina on the phone, I'm always like turbo pickles to mighty turkey, turbo pickles to mighty turkey. You know, I'll just make up anything, and sometimes it comes out kind of like maybe YouTube inappropriate.
Yeah, it was fine. Somebody would like to know, DNA Electronics wants to know why not build sleeping rooms underground for lower temperatures, but I think we need to explain how the tropics work.
Well, you're not supposed to put yourself in a hole till you're dead.
Yeah. Well, that too.
But it would probably be a little cooler, but I don't know if you'd want to...
The amount of work?
Well, that's not a big deal. It's more like the humidity. Like there's enough humidity that if you dug a hole and did an underground thing, the humidity would be an issue, I think. You get a lot of condensation in there. Unless you had, some kind of fancy ventilation system but personally, I sleep with no fan and I'm always comfortable. I mean, I'm like butt naked, no blankets or anything, but it's rarely too hot for me.
Yeah,
like maybe a couple times a year, it'll be too hot.
I think for me, I just need the air moving around. I don't necessarily need it on me, but I need the circulation.
Yeah.
I've discovered I think that's what it is for me.
The weather here is it's like a comfortable temperature in the shade pretty much all the time. If you're in the sun though, it's just like, oh my God, it's so hot. But if you're in the shade, it's good. And my house is made out of styrocrete, so it's got that styrofoam insulation, so it doesn't get hot in my house. It's just nice.
So Eric Bauerfeld would like to know, he's wondering how cool the water is there, / if there's kind of way to circulate cold water around to cool stuff.
No, it's warm. It's like soup.
It's not soup. There's days you learn it's not soup, but I don't think it's cold enough to cool things.
Yeah,
I think the water's quite nice.
Yes, the water is quite nice.
Sorry.
But if you were... Well, I mean, if you were swimming laps, when I go swim laps, I get kind of hot. But it's like the kind of water where you jump in and you don't go, you're just like, oh, wow, this is very comfortable.
It's nice. It's nice. I would say the temperature is very nice, but not... It's
an amazing, lazy temperature.
Yeah.
And it'll cool you off a little.
And sometimes it's actually cold. Like if I'm stuck holding the baby and I have to stand right by the ladder and I can't really move.
Yeah.
And then the wind starts blowing and I'm like, all right, guys, we got to get out. Mama's freezing because I can't really.
Right after it rains, it's cold.
Oh, yeah,
not cold. I mean, it's still not cold. I grew up in Canada and I was used to going into swimming pools where you jump in and I'm like.
Compared to the north, it's definitely not cold.
Yeah.
I grew up in Miami.
But it's cool after it rains.
So, yeah.
Yeah, in Miami is way hotter in the summer than here.
Yeah,
here the temperature
compared to that.
Yeah, the temperature just doesn't fluctuate much. It's always 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 20, 27, 28 Celsius.
I would say between 25 and 28 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. It occasionally goes under 25 and rarely it goes up to 30.
Oh God. I think the last time it was that hot.
All the people in the United States right now are like, what? Because Fahrenheit.
Yeah. So let's see. Where are we?
At your house.
Heat pump.
Nah, the temperature in the ground isn't. I mean, it's the temperature here is so consistent that the ground doesn't really cool off.
Yeah, it doesn't heat up. It doesn't really cool off. It's just.
Yeah.
Kind of the same.
I mean, maybe it would work to some degree, but it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be worth even the effort of making the thing, the amount of cooling you'd get. Now, if you dug deep enough, you could get some heat, except we're in the ocean, so it would just flood.
Chris R has 2 questions. Well, it's 2-part question. What kind of seafood do y'all eat most frequently, and what is your favorite seafood meal?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is Spanish mackerel. And I haven't caught any in a while, but if I like go out kind of to the open water, I sometimes catch Spanish mackerel, which is the most delicious fish. The easiest fish to catch here is barracuda. Although in the trap it would be, well,
Difficult.
yeah, if I'm dragging yeah, we've caught barracuda in the trap.
Really?
So there's 2 different ways I can catch fish, which I haven't been doing much in a while, just because I've been busy. But if I'm dragging a fishing line, mostly I catch barracuda. Sometimes bonito, bonita, whatever those fish are called, or the occasional snapper. But in the trap, we usually catch snappers, like red snapper maybe, something like that.
And what is your favorite seafood meal?
Well, I said Spanish mackerel. Oh, like meal?
Yeah.
Well, there was that time I caught those 2 hogfish when we were in the Bahamas. And
bacon.
Yeah. And I took all the meat off and then breaded and fried them. Oh, those were delicious. And it was like two big fish. And I thought we were going to be eating them for days, but I made them so delicious they lasted like that night, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The kids were like, "Oh my gosh, this is delicious."
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah, it was basically like popcorn fish.
Popcorn fish.
Yeah, like popcorn
Bacon
chicken fish.
Bacon fish.
Deep fried.
Deep fried.
No, it wasn't deep fried. It was just lightly fried, breaded and fried.
Question.
What's your favorite seafood dish? I know you're not answering questions, but
I'd have to think about that.
just fish fried in a pan just as is, because it's the easiest to make.
Yeah, pretty much. That's just 'cause it's easy to make.
I mostly just like bigger fish because smaller bigger
The
bones.
stuff I made in the oven the other day with the lemon marinade on it that I baked and brought over to the house, and you guys were all over that. I mean, it got cleaned out.
I don't even remember it. It disappeared so fast.
Snapper.
Should I turn off that fan?
Yeah.
No, there's no baby. Can I turn off that fan? Because
Probably
I'm attached.
She does. Yeah, turn the fan off.
I love when babies start doing useful things.
Yeah. Go ahead, you can do it.
I kind of wish I could show this right now, because our 2-year-old's butt naked, but she just woke up from a nap, so she's stumbling around like she's drunk, but like really drunk.
But she's very determined to be the one that turns the fan off, so the look on her face.
And instead, she just turned the other one on. Oh, she got it.
You did it. So the look on her face, she's very determined. She's going to turn the fan off.
And now she's stumbling back like a drunk again.
Drunk puppy. Are you going to go play outside? So, Jaimie.
Yes, that's me.
The ride.
No, Jaimo.
3 wants to know, how do you think the styrocrete will hold up in a fire? Would the styrofoam material melt and cause the structure to weaken?
Probably. I mean, if it was a hot enough fire, but I've seen videos online of people like holding a torch to styrocrete and it not doing a lot, like just melting the surface, but not the heat, not really getting through.
Right.
But I mean, if you had enough fire and burned out the styrofoam part, I'm sure it would weaken it.
But like Flowerfield likes calamari apparently.
But there isn't enough stuff in my house to burn at the moment that it could really, get an out of control fire. Maybe when I get the floors done. But anyway, I'm just gonna try not to light my house on fire.
There's basically 2 people asking the same similar question about fish farming.
Yeah, basically.
Like one person wants to know if we would farm them in the lagoon. Another person would like to know aquaponics. Do we have any plans on raising fish?
Kind of. I don't know. It's like too far down my priority list at the moment. I was considering making a pond on my island, and I dug a hole a few weeks ago. It's just like, like a meter by a half meter by, I don't know, half meter deep. And it holds water. Like the clay is clayey enough to hold water. So I could build a pond on my island.
My friend Monique is doing that.
Monique?
Focus.
Cool.
She's the one that has the water hyacinths.
Nice.
And they
What are water hyacinths?
They're these really pretty flowers, but
cool.
they help with
the
fish.
Can you pop them like popcorn?
No, they help with aerating the water for the fish.
But you can't pop them.
No.
All right.
Hyacinth
I want this
is
red
a
striped
flower,
amaranth.
not a grain.
Shayna, I'm being ridiculous. I want this red striped amaranth, and I want to make popcorn. Pop amaranth.
Okay. Somebody would like to know, have you thought about getting a ham set up to talk and listen to the outside world? They specifically said a 10-meter ham setup. I'm guessing they're talking about radio. I know what you
I mean, the image I'm getting in my head is a pig.
Sure is.
A pig who goes out and like gets gossiping, comes back, and now it's a 10-meter pig.
Yeah, 10-meter pig.
This giant pig. Hey guys, I got some news. Well, we do have walkie-talkies, but yeah, it's not anything that would reach far. I don't know. We have internet, so I don't even want that at my house. I kind of like mostly not having outside news. You know, the question someone asked earlier about, you know, what's my mental health like on my island? One of the things I love is that I don't get any information there from the outside world because I don't have internet. I don't even have a phone or anything. Like I have a walkie-talkie to communicate with here, but other than that, I'm just present. Like I'm just there, and I really like that. And every time I kind of get news from the outside world, I'm just like, oh, why did I even look? Oh. You know?
Yeah, but except for when I tell you things like Elon's 10 babies.
Well, then I'm like, oh, I'm not the only crazy one. Good.
So
I mean, not that I have 10.
Joseph Blowmeister.
I would, though.
Says maybe you should do more videos on catching fish.
Maybe I need to get more babies.
Maybe you do.
Does anyone want to have some babies? Let's have some babies. My audience is all guys.
I have some girls.
No, that's true.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you got asked a question that I asked you from a girl, but
yes, Terry. Something.
I've noticed if you B. Hartley says, I've noticed if you half bury styrofoam in the dirt, bugs will eventually eat it.
Really? I hope bugs don't eat mine.
Question.
Well, mine's covered with concrete, like a mortar, so it should be okay.
Have you thought about building a concrete boat? Jorge Aguis wants to know.
I've thought about it, but one of my neighbors is actually building a I'm so lost on my words right now. Ferro cement boat. And I don't know. I didn't really investigate it that well, but he's making one. I don't know. I've thought about it a little bit. The problem I have with like a ferro cement boat, and I don't know if he's talking about a ferro cement boat or just like a concrete boat, but one problem is if it gets a hole or anything, I mean, it sinks like a rock because it is a rock. And the ferro cement is basically lots of like chicken wire, like metal, and then the cement, you know, kind of filling in the space. And if that gets little cracks, you know, then your metal rusts and pops it apart, and it comes apart. I'm not sure how long they'll last. I don't know. I've thought about it, but not really in depth.
Okay, don't keep you on the floor.
I've thought more about making an aluminum boat. I want to do that.
A lot of people want to see you make that boat.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, yeah, I want to do that. I've also, I've got the tools. I've got some key tools recently that can help. Did you just fart? Oh, the baby just came over and farted it.
Stinky little bunny. Have you heard of Monero?
Well, the other thing about boats is the fiberglass has been going so well. So
yeah, that's what somebody just said. It seems like fiberglass has been pretty effective.
Yeah, but I do want to build an aluminum boat. So what's it?
Have you ever heard of Monero?
Monero? No, I don't know that guy.
Nobody wants to know.
Wait, what is Monero?
I don't know.
Okay.
Could you build a fish farm off the island, like in the sea around the island instead of on the island? And what are the laws there on that?
I don't know what the laws are, but we could probably get away with, netting off a section of like the bay here. I don't know.
Most people do.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do it around my island because the island is kind of like this. I'd have to have like a net like blobbing out into the ocean, blocking people. But Dashaina has like a nice bay here. And I mean, I think it would be pretty easy. Or even just your canal coming up to the house, but then you couldn't drive your boat in and out. Yeah, I don't know. I think we could do it if we really wanted to.
Tomatoes wants to know if you've ever played Stranded Deep.
No.
I love that game. It's about survival on an island.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
Somebody else asked.
I have been playing video games more recently because. Did she fart at you again? We've been feeding this baby.
Eggs.
Okay, so when I got sick a few weeks ago and I was like, chilling out for a couple of weeks, I started playing Half-Life, which I have in Russian. I have a Russian version of Half-Life.
That was my bad.
Yeah. But I mean, I played it in English like years and years ago, so I knew the basic story. Although it took me like 10 minutes to figure out the long jump. So anyway, I played Half-Life. And I finished that, and then I've been playing it again with the kids watching because they're all interested in that sci-fi crazy stuff. And then I've been playing some other like old video games a little bit. Ultima 3, it's like a game from like 486. It's like super old game. Anyway,
apparently
it's still fun though.
Deep is offline.
No.
Just so you know.
Is offline like you play it offline, or right now it's currently not working?
Play it offline.
Yeah, I like play it offline.
Or that maybe that's the version they're talking about.
Because I don't have internet anyway,
yeah. Oh.
Although I feel like I need to make a game that's good enough that I want to play it. Dashaina is going to attack a cat. Because I don't know, like a month ago, this cat showed up. Just like walked through the mangroves and like climbed up on the island. And now it's been here. I guess it's become an accepted cat, but you don't feed it.
I mean, I don't. Kids occasionally do.
Oh, really? I was never leaving then.
Very occasionally. The last thing we fed him was, I don't know, he
so mostly
crabs on his own.
Yeah. So he's a fairly self-sufficient cat.
Yeah.
But he's pretty much here to stay, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get something for him so he doesn't give anything to the dog. Anyway,
you mean like anti-worm and stuff or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, because the dog will eat the cat's poo. Oh.
It might.
Oh.
I wouldn't put it past her. So, all right, let me see where we are. Oh, you put your clothes on. That's great.
Oh, I'll see where we're at. Oh, I can do this.
No, don't touch it.
Oh, come on, I want to do it. I'm looking at
No, it says chat hidden.
No, I can read the comments too. Joseph Blowmeister says, thumbs up.
Yes.
What else
Monero is the only cryptocurrency that lives up to the original ideals of Bitcoin, in my opinion. I thought it might have shown up on your radar before.
Not at all. Okay, the reason I do have some Bitcoin, and when it goes back up, hopefully I can get some stuff with it. And I kind of hold on to a little just in case it gets really high or whatever. However, like cryptocurrencies in general are just kind of based on nothing. Like they could evaporate at any point. So I never, I wouldn't, it's not that I have no interest in it. Like I feel like it's not something I would want to rely on too much in my life. Oh, come on.
Okay, question. Somebody was asking, hold on,
you know what I think of as my main savings, for, the future is like stainless bolts and nuts and stuff like that. Because they don't reduce in value, they don't degrade over time. And they're always gonna be useful. Nuts and bolts are like tools and stuff like that. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Somebody wants to know what books. Oh, Chris R would like to know what books do y'all read, and do y'all do any writing?
I very.
And writing is only if absolutely necessary.
I don't read a lot, although I did just get some science books from Dashaina today. I was like, hey, can I borrow this? And she said, I don't care. I don't read that garbage. So I might read some science books. And it's just basically like, basic science stuff. It'll be a lot of review for me. But like, a lot of chemistry stuff and stuff like that I've forgotten. So it'll be good to go through. Like it's one of them is like a textbook for school and stuff like that. Writing, I've written a few books. Like How Big Is the Universe? What? You don't like my books?
Yeah,
I wrote a parenting book for one of my friends that I put online. It's in a video. I don't remember what it's called.
I was just looking to see. I thought I saw that book recently on the bookshelf somewhere at the Universal.
I did write the script for my movie that I made recently, which
did?
was mostly not written down, but some of it was written down, especially the parts where I was like, I played two different characters in the same scene and had to talk to each other. Those were a little bit hard to plan. I had to like write it out because I had to have the timing right because, you know, I wasn't actually there two times, or I was there two different times. So I had to talk to nobody and just get the timing right. Anyway.
Lappy Top suggests his two favorite games, which is Portal 2, the Talos Principle Inside. I might not be reading that comment correctly. It says Portal 2, comma. I think that's one of the games.
Yes.
And then the second game is the Talos, Talos Principle, and then comma, Inside, all capital letters. So I'm not sure if that's like, I'm guessing that's the whole name. And then highly recommend because they are awesome.
Awesome. I don't know if I have a fast enough computer to run anything like super modern, so I mostly play games that are a little bit older. I don't know how old those are.
Body would like to know, you should try Space Engineers. Seems like it would be right up your alley. Get to building things. Well,
if it's this thing like building things, I want to do that in real life mostly. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't want to just spend too much time playing video games. I mean, I still play them a little bit. When I was sick, I played video games a lot for like a week or two. But now I'm kind of back to normal where I don't play video games much or, you know, spend a lot of time on a screen.
Will your new Jorge Akis would like to know, will your new video game be available on the Play Store? Might make a bit of extra side money. It's not touchscreen.
I could make it touchscreen. Like right now, it's. The other one touchscreen. Oh god, no, it's too much. Like that game, I couldn't make it touchscreen because I could make a touchscreen version. Oh, the controller where it's got the thing and the thing.
Whatever the thing is.
It's got a lot of different buttons you have to push. Yeah. So I'd have to like streamline and make a simplified version.
Like you could have a moving.
No, I would need more than a D-pad and the buttons. Like I would need, because you have to hold, like you have to control yourself. You have to rotate and shoot and jump.
Yeah.
So you have to. That's like 4 buttons at once. I don't think your tablet will do that.
Complicated.
Yeah, I can make a streamlined version. Well, in my video games, there's a thing where you can go to instant action, and it's this thing where you blast a bunch of robots. It doesn't have the building part. It's just like an action game, and that you don't need so many buttons.
Okay, where are we?
I was thinking maybe I should make a tablet game next.
Oh, Brian is on Murftopia.
Murph.
Hi, you two. Have you tried Skagoli or Morezzo geopolymer techniques for creating different stone types? It's interesting.
No idea what that is.
Me neither. Tomato says that his cat walked in 2 minutes ago, right when our cat meowed, and his cat meowed, and he thought that it somehow got into the stream because he heard the cat meowing.
Well, it could probably hear it, yeah. Wait.
No, his cat was meowing, and he thought his cat meowing got into our stream.
Got into our thing.
The stream.
Maybe. Wait, what was the
geopolymer technique?
Yeah, what is
I don't
this?
know, he'll have to tell me. When he responds, I'll let you
know. You know, there's a rock that's flexible. Does anybody know about that?
We'll have to wait and find out.
Like as far as I know, there's one kind of rock on the planet that you can bend.
So Portal 2 is made by the same company as Half-Life, Valve.
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 Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
Well, I have Half-Life 1 and I don't have Half-Life 2 because it's like 4.5 gigabytes.
Lappy Top says the games he suggested are this. So this is going on to that further, that they are puzzle. So Lappy Top, I don't know if you feel like you want to send an email with those in it, but that'd be cool because I'd totally be interested in looking them up and seeing if we could get them because they sound like.
Hey, these weren't games for you. These were games for me.
I'm talking about the kids. And you.
No, this is for me. You this isn't for you. You don't answer the questions. You can't.
I just read.
You just read. Yeah, she reads all the time. I don't really read books.
No.
Even these science books I got, I'm like,
really
I'll read a
surprised.
page or two a day. Yeah, I'm not
Are
really
you just gonna
expecting.
do the Bellatrix technique of just look at the pictures and like hope?
No, I'm gonna put them by my bed,
Mhm.
and
Maybe
hopefully
you'll-
once in a while I'll read a page or two, and maybe occasionally I'll be inspired to read several pages at once.
So somebody is actually asking a question about if
Yeah.
there is a skill or hobby D wants to develop. The quote behind you guys made me wonder. So
Is there a skill
is
or
there a
hobby
skill or hobby that I want to develop?
Well, I always want to develop more skills, but I just develop skills as I need them
Yeah.
because there's constantly things that come up.
So I like Tomato says, this is not the Miss D show. It's not.
This is not the Miss D show. Yeah,
And the quote
you
behind
have
me
multiple
was
times a
made
week.
by one of my mother, and she sent to us.
I thought you weren't answering questions.
That is, you can answer that question. I answer questions that like are relating to you and not me specifically.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, that relates to me because your mom and I get along
well,
like pals.
You ask to use it every single time because you love this quote so much. Anyway, does Amazon deliver there, and how do you feel about
do,
drones?
sort of. Well, we can get stuff off Amazon. We have to get it sent to a place in the United States.
And the next container leaves on the 27th, so it has to get there by the 26th.
Well, but there's like a container every month or so.
Yeah, I'm just saying if it was this month.
And then like this guy who lives sometimes in town here and sometimes in the United States, he sends a container down every month. It's like a shared container, so you can get stuff sent to his place in the States, and then whenever he gets a container full or when he thinks it's going to be full, he'll send the whole container down and empty it, and then I go up and get stuff. That's where I got like the last video or 2 videos ago when I went to get stuff for the roof and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I went to his place to get stuff.
Chris
and some of that came from Amazon. Most of it came from Amazon, actually.
Yeah, I would say probably most of it.
But I have to pay for the shipping from there to Panama. So
sometimes, I mean, yes, it's
always
charged, but I mean, sometimes somebody else pays for it.
Well, you
get people to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because that's how I roll. What tools, Chris Boyce would like to know, what tools have you fixed, repaired, or improved that you are most proud of?
Fixed, repaired, or improved. Well, I didn't fix or repair this, but I'm really, really happy with my wheelbarrow. My wheelbarrow is amazing.
What about the shovels?
I took my wheelbarrow to town yesterday and got cement. And every time I go to town with my wheelbarrow, people are always like, "Whoa, man, nice wheelbarrow." Usually it's in Spanish, but nice wheelbarrow. And they talk about my llantas because I have a big wheel.
They talk about your llantas.
Yeah, my tire. Well, my one tire on the front, it's got like a big tire on the front of the. Llantas. They're like, "Yo, man, that's a good wheelbarrow, bro."
Oh man, what about your shovels?
My shovels, I have stainless steel shovels I made too that are amazing. Oh, it's like, yeah, like I don't have to buy shovels anymore. And it's almost like one of those things that I just forget about. Like I don't need to buy shovels. But before I had stainless steel shovels, every once in a while I had to buy a new shovel because they'd rust and fall apart. Well, I'm trying to think of answers to the question. What have I improved or
I think you just answered. I don't think they wanted the whole list of all of them.
Everything.
Every single one for the next 4 hours. Could you tell us in detail?
I'm going to think of something again.
Apparently, Sean Allen feels like that these live streams are good for our relationship.
I think they are good for our relationship in that this is pretty much the only time we talk to each other.
Yeah.
We don't actually hang out other than this. Like the other day when I came over, you were just like, "I'm reading my book. Go away from me." I'm busy reading. Yeah. You got a question? Okay, great.
I think it's mostly because I have the kids all the time, and so when you show up, I mean, like a kid all the time.
Oh,
almost.
You mean because the baby?
Yeah.
No, that's not even true. You'll bring the baby over to my house sometimes, but you mean every night you have the baby keeping you awake? I think is what you're talking about.
So anyway,
because the kids are at my house half the time.
When you ship stuff that way, do you have stuff checked, taken, taxed by customs? No. I would say no.
Wait, do I
When you
have?
ship stuff, Anonymatron wants to know, when you ship stuff that way, like through our container service, do you have stuff checked / taken / taxed by customs?
Not taken, but taxed. Yeah.
Yeah, checked and taxed.
Yeah.
Not really checked, but kind of checked.
Well, yeah, we get taxed on
we get
stuff.
taxed on all sort of in a sort of way.
No, we get taxed on things.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, I was just thinking out loud to myself, like.
Yes, there's import tax and there's shipping price.
Right.
So yeah, it's it's like the amount of money I save by living in this place off grid and all this is definitely worth it. But anything we want to get off Amazon or any online place, we have to pay for an extra chunk of money to get it to here.
Tomatoes says, was that stainless steel bolt and nut set that I sent you?
It's amazing.
That good?
That was great.
Yeah, was that a good set? I was always wondering about that.
Yeah, totally good.
Yeah.
Yes, totally good.
Tomatoes.
Which one did you send? Because there was one that was 316 steel, and then another one was 304 steel. I mean, they're both good though. It's just the 316 steel you could use like right in the salt water because it's like super rust resistant. And the 304 steel, stainless steel, is not as rust resistant. However, I found that I can use the 304 stainless steel pretty much for everything. It just gets a little bit of surface rust. But if I'm doing something that's going to actually be in the salt water a lot, I'll try to use a 316 bolts and nuts and washers. All right, 2 more questions. Let's go have lunch.
So let me see if there's any other questions that I haven't. If there's any questions,
there are 2 things I need to get. There's one thing, I don't have any really long bolts. Like every once in a while, I need a really long bolt. I need to remember to try to find some of those.
Did I say the thing about you should try Space Engineers? Yes, I said that already.
Yeah. The other thing is someone sent me a circular saw recently, which uses the kind of battery I don't have.
Oh, right, the 60 V.
Yeah. So it's like the DeWalt tools have. I mean, I don't know about all of them, but generally they have two different kind of batteries, 20 volts or 60 volts. And I don't have any of the 60 volt batteries to run this one circular saw. So I added some of those to my Amazon wish list, which may be wishful thinking, but I'm just going to say it now just in case. But yeah, I'll order some of those at some point.
Chris Boyce wants to know, how much farming land do you think you have left to plant to support yourself?
Oh, we have tons of land.
Much land we have left.
Yeah, we have plenty of land. Like on my own island, I probably have enough to farm. But we have a bunch of land, like a big chunk of land on an island over there. Definitely enough to farm.
Have you ever been to the Cologne free zone?
No.
And then the last question that we're answering, which is totally ridiculous, and I'll let the kids answer this, is what are you going to name the new cat? What's the cat's name, Carcannon?
Fire Patch?
And then what does Aurora call it all the time?
Patches. Yeah, one kid calls it, two girls.
She named him, his nickname is Patches.
Yeah. Apparently. Oh, so his official name is Fire Patch.
Fire Patch.
But then the girls call him Patches.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think we're going to have lunch.
Yeah, I gotta go.
You gotta go? You're ready to eat right now? Dude, I brought all over all that food this morning.
I have to. Well, I didn't have much.
You didn't even eat it?
I did have some.
Oh, I guess the kids ate it all. Oh, I feel all alone now. There's nobody here.
Here, let me help you.
Oh, jeez.
Bye.